recording happening and happening at that moment as well. There will be a Q&A session, 15 minutes within the workshop sections, and anyone who is looking to get continuing education credits, so that's licensed social workers, make sure that you stay for the entire session. And we want to just express our gratitude really quickly to our sponsors: AmitaCare, Callan Lord, Osborne Association, GMHC, DBGM, James Beard Foundation, John Paul Gaultier, New York City Health and Hospitals, Vibrant Health, Housing Works, Claymont Designs, the Ali Fournier Center, Gilead Sciences, as well as our community partners: Agape International, National LGBT Cancer Network, CAMBA, Princess Janae Place, Voces Latinas, the LGBT Center, Top Notch Cleaning Services, Brooklyn Yes, Melania Courts Esquire, LGBT Kwanzaa Community of New York City, Odo Achievement Center, LGBT Network, Beyond Bold and Beautiful, Rogue Media, Caribbean Equality Project, Brooklyn Pride Center, the Gatekeepers Collective, and the Church of the Village. So without further ado, we would like to bring on for this session and introduce our speakers, Christopher and Cesar, who will be providing a nice, interesting session on youth and representation of our community's identities. Christopher and Cesar, are you with us?
Yes, we
right
are.
Here. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone, whoever you're watching from. Huh?
Are we stopping?
Are we? No.
Cool.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon, good morning. See, for me right now, it is 10:04 in the morning, but good morning, good afternoon, kings, queens, princesses, everything in between. We are all royalty. Hello. Thank you everyone for joining me here today. Thank you to the whole community planning board for getting to this point. It has been not a rocky road, but definitely a road that we've all been traveling together. So how did I arrive at this idea? So I'm pretty sure we've all been plagued by the past year, and a lot of us would love to forget the past year, but we can't. So I arrived at this theme because I personally have been afflicted by the pandemic, by my personal life, social life, and for the last 3 years, it's been really tough on my family, which is why I'm so happy that this theme, is there a second camera? Is there? No. The theme represents, to me, it represents more than just yourself. It's about, your family. For me in particular, resiliency has affected me as a personal, as an individual. It has affected my my family, and I arrived at this idea because over the last 3 years, around the beginning of every year for the last 3 years, I've lost someone very close to me. Right before the pandemic, I lost my grandmother to cancer. During the pandemic, I lost my grandfather to COVID, and just this year alone, I lost a big brother. So I came to this idea because it takes a strong person to overcome obstacles, even though the obstacles may weigh down or even like kick you down while you're out. And that's what I felt about me. Thank you, thank you. I trust me, everyone. I'm very good. I am blessed. I'm here. I wouldn't be here if all this didn't happen, because things happen for a reason. I'm not mad. I'm not sad. I'm just celebrating that I'm still here with my family here on Earth, and that we are still celebrating, remembering those who are not here with us anymore. Um, so this theme in particular, it affects many levels of anyone, and uh resiliency in particular, where I'm coming from and where I'm trying to convey a message to, is with mental health, wellness, coping, stress, anxieties with the family, and how does one actually overcome certain things. Because again, this whole situation has been a trial for all of us, and my story alone is my story. So, you know, it's crazy. I'm pretty sure someone else out there is having just as much of a bad time as I am, but we are making the most out of it. Um, so resiliency without certain factors in one's personal individuality, they will not be able to overcome certain things. So to me, I believe resiliency requires a certain level of self-awareness and self-love, right? You have to pay attention to your surroundings at all times, even if that's just you and one other person, or you and your whole family. So for me, it'd be myself, my whole family, my friends. So I'm always paying attention to everyone, because everyone affects me and I affect others. So um in order to be resilient, you have to let go. You have to let go of things mentally, you have to let go of things physically, and you have to assess and sustain positive emotions, positive mental attitudes, because without accessing it, you can't keep it and you can't maintain a structure to your life. I know with me, I have a lot of friends, I have a lot of family that keep me grounded. So thank you for everyone out there that was always helping me out from a day to day, because life is hard, guys. um, Also, with resiliency, you have to manage your feelings effectively. Keyword effectively, right? You don't ever want to go off the deep end and do something crazy and harm yourself. That's not what we want. And I know I always manage my feelings. I make sure I ask everyone in my family how they're doing. And I do my best to make sure everyone else feels great before I can assess myself. And 9 times out of 10, I am very happy. So I want to make sure everyone else is happy before me. um, you have to have great communication skills in order to be resilient, in order to keep on progressing, because you have to talk about your feelings. You have to talk about what you're going through. The mind plays so many mind games, and during the pandemic, we've seen so many people lose themselves and lose others because they don't talk to anybody. So guys, please talk to somebody. Talk to your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your anybody. I talk to my mom almost all the time. Hi, mom. um, you have to have confidence, and you have to be proactive, and you have to always be ready with your best foot forward. And I've learned that in the past 3 years, being this confident machine that I am really does give others a light within our day, because I always look at the glass like half full, never half empty, because I'm always gonna fill my cup up. I don't ever want to be not full, because I hate being thirsty. um, and last but not least, in order to be fully resilient and be with the change on your own time, you have to distance yourself from negativity, right? You don't keep things in your life that cause you to be unhappy or cause you struggle and strife. I know with me and my family alone, we distanced ourselves from everything negative. Why? Because we don't need it. None of us need it. And if you out there are going through it, let it go. You don't need the negativity that plagues you from a day to day and stops you from living a happy life. Because in this day and age, the last thing we need is more sadness, more anger, So that's how I came up with this theme of resiliency, because I am a rolling stone. I'm not stopping. I will keep on moving. And I hope you out there, you, he, she, them, they, everyone from in between, please make sure you guys take care of yourselves and keep going. Don't ever stop just because someone else said stop. I haven't, and I'm still here. And I hope you guys can take this message and internalize and move on with your days and have a better outlook on life, because things do get better. You know, it's not instant, it's never that quick, but you know, things take time, and in time things do get better. And that's what I've learned about being resilient for the past 3 years, because everything in my life has taught me to come up to this moment to be as strong, to make sure I can always tell the next person, hey, you can do it too. Okay, guys, and with that, thank you. I would like to introduce Chris to the camera.
Kind of. All righty. How is everyone doing? I'm just hearing a little bit of feedback, so if everyone can please make sure that they're on mute so that we can have a smooth sailing chat. Wonderful. Oh my goodness. Why is it bugging out like this? We're going to go through it with anyway. All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I am a dance fitness instructor, background actor, and I work in the HIV prevention field for CAMBA. You can find us at 1259 Flatbush. All right. Little sponsor, little plug, because they are also one of our community sponsors today. So thank you, CAMBA. All right. So, and thank you, Cesar, for sharing that with us. It was lovely. I took a lot of points down from that.
Oh, thanks.
And remember, we are sharing the time slot. So now it is my little time, and then we can ask questions afterwards. All right. So we're talking about resiliency here today. So you all know what the definition of that word is. Basically, literally, straight up, it's just the ability to come back and recover from difficult situations. So what does that mean being an LGBTQ person of color? What does that mean in these difficult times, such as pandemic, COVID? We haven't really been through these times before. It basically means that we as a community have the ability, have the capability to bounce back. And it's also because we have each other's support. I think that's why. And the word in the past has had very little meaning to me until of recent, because coming to this conference has given me the ability to reflect and go deep into my past and really see where I was resilient in my life. Just for example, like other people I thought who had lost, siblings, who had lost family members, who had lost all their money, who were on the streets and homeless. Those people who bounced back, I thought were resilient. But again, I'm realizing that resiliency goes across the board, especially being a person of color and LGBTQ. Again, starting off, I was the first openly gay and Black person on my mother's side. It was all like white, European, Italian, very like machismo, and they were all white. So I was also raised white to a certain degree. And that right there provided so many barriers for my life that I've had to push through as well. And that is my resiliency. Yeah, and then I realized also looking back, even before coming into myself, just my childhood, like how that has shaped myself. Like many of you know or don't know that I was raised through an adoption home. So at the age of 3, I was separated from my parents, and it was a little bit of a hard time for like a year or two. I went from a foster system to an adoption home to actually living with another family that I had no idea who they were. And then eventually, current day, my grandmother is my caretaker and my guardian until, she can't no more. But I've been really grateful and really honored and privileged to be living happy and the way that I want because of the sacrifices she has made for me and because of the I don't care attitude. Like, I feel that's another way of resiliency. Like, to go on in life, you have to have your tunnel vision and see your goal and get to it no matter what happens. It's like, sorry, the game, right? You knock your puzzle piece down, you pick it back up, and you keep playing. And never apologize for it. Never apologize for when you come down, because we all have our low moments, and we all have our highs. But it's the ability to bounce back through each and every time life knocks you down. And again, resiliency. Sorry, I'm just lost in my notes right here. Also being compared to my brother growing up, that has been a struggle as well because I'm a twin. And so that creates a little bit of a difficult in my mind because he was always quieter and more reserved and I guess more appropriate in the school setting. So everyone was like, Chris, why can't you be like your brother? Chris, why can't you be like David? And that's another hardship that I had to deal through because it was challenging my sense of self. Like, should I be this way? Should I be more like him, or should I not care? And here we are discussing with you in the conference. I've made it. I'm resilient enough to tell you about my story, to tell you about my past. And like Cesar said, I really hope that all of you do take the time to reflect and take this time to love yourself and appreciate what life is right now. All right.
Thank you so much, Cesar and Chris, for your amazing words, for sharing your personal experiences. It's not easy to talk about, especially in a public forum. And, you know, with this year's theme being, you know, youth mental wellness and resiliency in a time of uncertainty, that is a really, you know, the fact that you came up with that title and the fact that we are talking about this today is so important. So, you know, I want to give some of our community members a moment if they want to write a comment in the chat room or a question. We will be ending the session on time to keep, you know, the conference going and to be mindful of people's time. So please, if you have any questions, also you can raise your hand and we can ask Chris and Cesar about, you know, their experiences or more so about what it means to be, you know, young people of LGBT experience, because I think that that's good, that's important. In the chat, it says, thank you for inspiring older folks like me. Dr. Perry said that I wish I were as wise as these young people when I were their age. Congratulations to them. And we have to remember that there was a time, and not so long ago, where folks could not have these conversations.
Right.
That young people did not have the space or the ability to talk about their sexuality, to talk about their gender identity, the, you know, intersectionalities of race and gender and sexual orientation. So it's phenomenal to see, right?
I just love these comments.
I wanna kind of bring something up. I was at a really interesting workshop earlier this morning moderating for the Trevor Project, and there were some, you know, really difficult statistics around, you know, suicidal ideation, right? Attempts of suicide. What does mental health look like for LGBTQIA folks of color, particularly of, you know, African-American descent? And something that came out of that was the ability to be adaptive in one's identity, and that how that can help improve LGBTQ youth mental health. So if you can both speak to that, right? Because you talked about, being different from your twin brother, right? And how, he was more reserved. And you both have such beautiful, vibrant personalities.
Thank
So
you.
what was that like for you to be adaptive in your own identity?
It's crazy because I'm 28, and I come from a Puerto Rican family, so it's not easy. It's never easy, and most people of the LGBT community can all say that they've had some type of struggle. I know me, the struggle was definitely real, and it wasn't bad because I had my mom with me. She was there through thick and thin. She's somewhere around here. But yes, if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have adapted as quick as I thought, because she really did help me. She helped me. Yes, thank you, Mom. I love you. She really did help me get through some crazy times, because being the first out and proud gay child of your family on one side of the family, I set the standard for a lot of my cousins and a lot of like younger ones in the family. And then to be like out and proud and teaching at a private school, that's another job that I have. That's a whole different story, to be like one of the first like gay instructors at a private school, when it's they preach the Catholic book every day. So it speaks volumes when you can break out of the mold and fit yourself into the norm, because I am not normal. But it feels great to be able to stand next to people in a cis hetero world where, hey, I can do it just as good as you, if not better.
And speaking to that a little bit, as I said like earlier, that tunnel vision, like for me, like I had that, I'm not going to care what anyone is thinking of me, and I'm going to be unapologetically me. And I had that realization from a very young age, like no matter where that would take me in life, I recognized that my sense of self and just myself matters way more than anyone else.
So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, this is your life. You make sure you live it. You have to make sure you are powerful enough, because we only get one. This is not a video game. We don't have extra lives. We don't have a reset button. This is all we got. So make it the best, make it count, and just, roll with the punches. Some days are bad, some days are good, but it cannot be that bad. And if it is, you're never alone. There's someone always around who wants to help. Sorry, the camera keeps going in and out, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. We can hear you. That's what's important. We can hear your voices.
But life is always going to have a twist and turn, and sometimes you have to be ready. And if you're not, you end up doing what I do, what Chris has done in the past few months. We've been jumping hoops and hurdles. Right, fake it until you make it.
Fake it till you make it. Yeah. So any last minute words of wisdom for young people? I know that the majority of the folks that are on today's conference may be older than 35, maybe professionals working in the field of mental health.
It's okay.
But it would be great.
You're all aging.
Yeah, but the fact that this is closer to home for you, I think it's important that if you wanted to speak directly to young people, and because this is being aired on Facebook and other social media platforms, how would you end this session talking to a young person out there who may be listening? What advice would you give them?
You want to go first?
Yeah. Well, there have been many trailblazers in the past who have paved the way for us to be who we are. And I believe that we are those same very people helping shape the future. And I have a lot of hope for the future. And I hope that you all will stay resilient and be able to come back from whatever life throws your way, because without us, without you, we don't have a community. All right. So stay strong, everybody.
Yeah, you know, it feels great being able to do this because this is our first year. We went from being on the planning committee to being keynote speakers. So it's been a wild ride, but it feels so good and validating because I know I've gone through a lot in my life and I've told certain people, you know, my stories coming here and there. And, you know, some stories are sad, some stories are happy. But what I want someone else who's younger than me to take away from this, again, things get better. And you can always talk to somebody. There's someone out there who will listen to you. If it's not your family, it doesn't have to be your family. That's one thing that LGBT community will always stand with, is having a chosen family. And I chose a family to love me. And then my actual family came running right back. So I have not one, but two families, okay? You don't have to stay in one set, all right? If you find solace with your friends, with your significant, with your dog, with your kitty cat, that is your family, all right? I have two lovely kitties back at home. You know, I love my fur babies and they definitely give me everything I need to live in this life. Why? Because they chose me and all my anxiety.
Hearts, hearts, hearts. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And I would add that because this is a mental health conference, that we also want to be able to reach out to others that are trained and that can provide us with the support that we need from a mental health perspective. And it's going to be so important to have, you know, that portion of one's life, you know, taken care of, right? And that there's connection. And so one of the things we want folks to do also throughout this process, even though this is a virtual conference and we're not in person, is to share resources, is to say hello to each other, to exchange contact information, right? Because this can't just be a two-day conference and then we forget about it until next year. We have to continue this because, you know, this information needs to be shared. And there are not a lot of spaces like this that focus on, you know, mental health for LGBTQ people of color. I mean,
we've been pushing this for months. Like, guys, if you don't know, you will know today what is happening because this is important. It affects all of us, brown, Black, gay, straight, bi, lesbian, trans. It affects you, especially if you are in the minority. We're always at a disadvantage. So you know what? Why not take life by the helm? I make sure I go into every day head first with no type of anxiety in sight. I'm just always living and having a ball.
And smiling as you are doing right now. Both of you.
Always.
So thank you so much, Cesar and Chris. We appreciate you so much.